the fact was this: all of our the most like our men died before that. They became soldiers and they died. So like we lack of men at that time. So that's why women we had to stand up and fight too. So like we fought in so many ways. It's like you know like guerrilla style. Like we made traps and then uh we lure them to like small traps to kill the enemies like part by part because we know that we were too weak to fix them with the one big fight. That's impossible for us to win. And women also we like my mom actually like they hear the bombing every day, but they still go to the rice field to work because they need to feed just not only themselves but only the soldiers and also the south of Vietnam at that time when they were sprayed the toxic. So, like they work so hard to do that, and yeah, it was a big part of our human resources. And also, my grandma was she was born in 1930s, and yeah, of course, she had a lot of memories about. The only one thing is, when I talk to my mom and my grandma, I said is that when I talk about like how did you feel at that time, or like how did you feel? Do you feel like terrible and you cannot continue this life anymore? Yeah, it's obvious, right? And they both told me that like actually they didn't think that much at that time because like they know that the whole country is burning, the whole country is fighting, and the enemy is right on our land. So they didn't really think about their own pleasure. All they think about is have to do this to have to do this to fight. So like they just did it, and then they survived the war. Yeah, something like that.
I know that at one point the United States had actually promised to pay reparations to Vietnam for the bombing, but that has never been fulfilled, despite the fact that
Yeah,
Obama visited and everything. Um,
yeah.
let me also ask you: did the anti-war movement in the United States, the fact that millions of Americans took to the streets and protested against the Vietnam War, were people aware of that in Vietnam? Do people have a strong feeling that that was helpful in securing national liberation? Was there a feeling about that within Vietnam, or was that just kind of in the background? People were focusing on the war.
Well, it always warms my heart when I know that thousands of Americans like fought against that war. Really, it's it makes me feel like at least like somebody listen to us and know what's happening over here. And yeah, and of course, at that time, a lot of enemies people knew about that, and we even like secretly sent the documents, pictures, and videos to those anti-war groups in America because I knew that because I watched a documentary about a group of America who like secretly showed those pictures sent by us, and I was really happy. I am now very happy. And when I told my mom and my grandma that like that happened in America, like anti-war protests, they both smiled, you know.
Mm.
They both smiled because of what you did.
No, I'm originally from Ohio in the United States, and I actually grew
Mm-hmm.
up about 20, 25 minutes away from a place called Kent State University. And on May 4th, 1970, there was an anti-war demonstration at Kent State University, and the
Oh,
U.S. military opened fire and killed four of the students that were protesting.
oh
I was
God.
in the 1990s. But every year on May 4th, we would hear from our teachers, from people in town, that these young students had deserved it. They were disrespecting the country. They were
Oh,
spitting on soldiers, and so I just grew up hearing this mantra of anti-war protesters are bad and all of that. So even on my own political development, I think that the Vietnam War, and hearing about this massacre that had happened not very far from where I grew up at Kent State University, it had a pretty big political impact on me. So the impact of the Vietnam War. I mean, how many million Vietnamese people were killed as a result of this war? What was the death toll? From I've heard different estimates, like 4 million, 5 million.
wait a minute. I have to check
Okay,
because I don't even remember.
okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm looking. Okay, we have number now. About we have they only count the oh here we have 849,000 dead
Mhm.
soldiers,
Okay.
about 500,000 to 600 like wounded, injured, and then the total since 1945. Okay, we had like 1.1 million martyrs, and then oh my God, it's just so much. It's about 1.5 million, all like soldiers, and then soldiers who died and civilians too.
How many civilians?
It's about 600,000,
Okay.
something
Okay.
like
So
that.
like 1.5 million. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, it's something like that where it's very hard to calculate the total amount of death,
Yeah, it's hard.
right? And that people are still suffering from these chemicals, from what I understand, right? From the diocin
Oh
and
yeah,
such, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So, wow. Well, I was curious if you could touch on, you made a very good video about how Vietnam is a socialist country.
Thank you.
And I must tell you that going to the World Festival of Youth and Students in Quito, Ecuador in 2013, I actually had the honor of being able to meet with the Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth Union and
Mm-hmm.
attend their events, and hear the presentation on behalf of this organization, and learn a lot about socialism in Vietnam, and talk with the youth delegation that attended that gathering in Quito, Ecuador. It was very educational for me, and I learned a lot about socialism. But I know your video was very long, but can you just kind of concisely tell us why, despite the fact that Vietnam has a stock market, despite the fact that many private corporations do business in Vietnam, Vietnam is still a socialist country. It's still guided by Marxism, Leninism, and Ho Chi Minh thought and such.
Yeah, okay. So at first you have to understand like what does socialism mean to us?
Mhm.
Because according to Marx, Lenin, and Ho Chi Minh, socialism is not an end goal. Socialism is a transitional period from capitalism to communism. So like it must contain both capitalism and socialism inside of one transitional period is that. So like if you still think that socialism is like it must be pure socialism, like 100% so that it's impossible according to Marx. Okay, I don't know, maybe you have a different definition of socialism, but that's our definition. So like yeah, so like and another thing, Vietnam, we have a lot of socialist programs, such as we have rice price stabilization programs, where like we protect the farmers, uh, we protect the farmers who produce rice for us. It's really really good, and you can watch my videos for that. I explain everything. We also have price stabilization for medicine and for gas, oxide, the basic stuff like that. So that's why they always so cheap in Vietnam and always protect consumers. And we have anti-imperialist program such as like I haven't made a video about this yet, but it literally means like we try to protect the domestic business compared to the international business, something like that. And then one more thing is that like Marxism, Leninism, and Ho Chi Minh taught, they always been taught since like primary school until college in Vietnam. Like literally everybody that you met in Vietnam now, they were all like officially trained Marxists and Leninists and Ho Chi Minh taught Ho Chi Minh ideology like in the school. So like we talked about that everywhere, and it's a basic, like it became like the basic subjects and essential subjects that they must pass those class if they want to graduate. Another thing is like I don't have to remember Vietnam, we have been socialist and collectivist since before the word socialist even got invented. It's like something in our spirit. Like
Mm.
it happened since 1,000 years ago, and like we always like care about each other, and we have the tradition of like helping each other, and then put the public benefits over the individual benefits, and it's been like always our tradition. Such as in Vietnam, we have a community gardens. It's
Hmm.
something like you see an empty place around your house, and you grow fruits there together. Everybody share, and
Well,
then like it becomes like so normal that like as I said in my video, it's so normal that nobody even questions about it. Like, can I do that here? Can I do this here? And even the government doesn't stop us. Like, okay, they even encourage us to do that.
well, the World Economic Forum wrote an article, and they are certainly not a socialist or communist voice, but they published an article called Vietnam's Economic Miracle, going on at length about how Vietnam has raised people out of poverty, the amount of infrastructure investment, the amount of effort put into technology. And it really shows, of course, they blame market solutions. But if you read the fine print of the article, it shows that by having state control of the means of production, that really has given Vietnam the cutting edge in moving toward becoming a middle income country. And
Yes,
I
yeah.
was kind of blown away to read that. And a lot about the socialist market economy of Vietnam shows that unlike countries that are truly capitalist, where the corporations just come in and just do whatever they want, it's pretty clear that in Vietnam, the Communist Party has the power, right? The Communist Party controls the economy. There's market sectors, but the Communist Party is in power, and the Communist Party's agenda isn't making profits for capitalists, it's
Yeah,
helping the
yeah.
Vietnamese people and getting them closer to communism. And communism is based on vast material abundance. It's upon raising the level of productive forces. And I feel
Yes,
like
exactly.
that has been lost. A lot of American leftists don't get that. They think communism is everyone being poor, but it's somehow equal, right? We just share the poverty, and that's fair. And they kind of misunderstand the materialism that Marx had, that communism is
Exactly.
the basis of raising people out of poverty, vast material abundance.